So today I'm going to be walking you through exactly how I lost 65 pounds eating an animal-based diet. I'm going to show you why this worked for me, what I've been eating on a day-to-day basis, and most importantly, how you can get started without feeling overwhelmed. It's a lot simpler than most people make it, so let's get into it. Now, before we dive in, my name is Spencer, and I've been struggling with my weight for 25 years. And I tried every diet under the sun, right? And nothing really ever stuck until I found an animal-based diet about a year ago. And that's where everything kind of changed for me. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. Although I've learned a lot about nutrition over the last 10 years, I'm just a regular guy who's finally figured this out for myself. So I wanted to share what's been working for me and how it's kind of changed everything. And if you're tired of starting over, kind of like I did for years, hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a very clear path on how to begin. So let's start with why the animal-based diet clicked for me. The simple reason of why this worked that I don't think a lot of people understand is that your body has two ways of creating energy. It can create energy through sugar and it can create energy through fat. In our day and age, in our society, with the standard American diet, most of us are consuming way too much sugar. So what happens when our body is living off sugar? Well, all of the other things that you're putting in your body, especially like protein and fat, that is getting stored in your body as excess fat. That's why you gain weight, is because your body is constantly burning sugar and it doesn't know how to rely on fat as energy. The way I think about this is if like a toddler's sitting in a living room and he's got a pile of toys behind him, your stored body fat, and he's faced away from it crying for more toys. And you as the parent keep giving him more toys, he's gonna be like, perfect, play with this, I'm gonna get bored, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna start screaming for more toys. So if you don't give him or her another toy, then two things are gonna happen. They're either gonna throw a tantrum, start crying really loud, or they're gonna eventually get bored and start looking within their environment of what can entertain them at that time. So then they turn around and they go, oh, we've had a pile of toys here the entire time, and they'll start playing with that. I use this analogy because it's the exact same way our body works. A lot of us are overweight. We have a lot of stored body fat, but we continue to feed our bodies sugar on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. And so your body's like, all right, we're getting sugar. And when it burns through that really quickly, it comes back to you and it's like, hey, we're hungry. We need more sugar. We need more energy. Hurry. We're crashing. We start getting headaches and like you become irritable and starving. That is your body running off sugar and not fat. Once you start eating real foods that nourish your body and it gives you fuel, the right fuel to use, so your body can do what it's supposed to, then all of that evens out. And then naturally, you stop eating so much food, right? So that's exactly what happened to me on an animal-based diet. For the first few days of doing this, my body was kind of yelling at me. It was like, hey, yo, dude, you kind of stopped giving us all the fuel that you used to give us. What's going on? And so it was loud for a few days. By that day 4 or 5 mark, everything shifted. My body started to adapt, realizing that I was consistently giving it protein and fat and a moderate to low amount of healthy carbs. And so it started saying, okay, well, now we need to start using fat as energy. And it looked around its environment and it saw all this stored fat on my body, which was a lot. And it said, okay, well, we've got a surplus of all of this sitting around, so let's start utilizing this to make energy for the rest of the body. When that happened, weight started coming off effortlessly because it was doing exactly what it was supposed to do, using stored fat as energy. And so now, I naturally eat within about a 7-hour window. I usually start eating around noon every day, and then I'll stop at about 7 o'clock. So I don't typically eat breakfast anymore. There are definitely days that I wake up and I am really hungry. If I was very active the day before. If I did like a heavy workout or maybe went on a long walk or just had a busy day, like my body does need more fuel. So I'll wake up in the morning and I listen to those cues and I'm like, well, I'm actually really hungry. Like I'm gonna make some fried eggs and some butter. That'll get me to lunch, right? And after that, I feel more stable, I have more energy, and that gets me to the next meal around that 12 to 1 o'clock mark. And so that's simply how easy it is, right? That's why the animal-based diet finally clicked for me, is because I get to eat all the foods that I truly love. I don't have to measure anything, and I feel great doing that. And then the side benefit is my health is getting better. I've lost a ton of weight. I look good, I feel good, and it just works for me long term. So because it is so simple, I'm able to stick to this every single day. So now let's get into the part that everyone always asks me about. What do I actually eat? To make this easy to understand, I keep my diet so simple. I eat some type of animal protein, so that's like a beef, bison, venison, occasionally some seafood like sardines, right? Like animal based. Duh. And then I supplement it with things like fruit, honey, raw dairy, and eggs. So a staple for me is like a really good burger bowl. I love cheeseburgers. Always have, always will. And so this allows me to still eat foods that I love, but just in a healthier way. So I'll cook my ground beef, season it really well, and then I'll put some grated raw cheese on it, and I'll put some chopped pickles, a little squirt of mustard, maybe even a dollop of like avocado mayonnaise. That is a pretty big, hefty meal that's gonna make me really satisfied, but I'm also getting nutrient-dense foods in all of my meals. And what I found with this is that, I'm now metabolically flexible. I can, go eat that one-off meal that maybe it's pizza with the guys or a holiday meal with the family, and I can bounce right back afterwards and get back into this routine because I feel so good eating this way that now like I don't want to be stuck in this like junk food or sugar loop of always having to cram this down my throat just to be satisfied. Like I love getting back into my routine now. But what I found with this is that simplicity equals consistency. I have simplified this down so much that I've been able to easily stick with it for over a year. It's definitely something you should try as well. If you've been struggling with this journey forever, I would highly recommend doing this. And so let's get into that. Like what, if you're saying, well, it kind of sounds doable, like I'd like to try that, but where do I start? Here's what I would recommend. Do not overhaul your life. Do not commit to some like 6-month thing where like I'm eating nothing but animal based and I'm going to lose all this weight. Like start small. Start with 1 week of doing this. Say for 7 days, I'm going to simplify my diet to eating clean protein, some fruits, a couple vegetables, some honey and some dairy, right? Like keep it that simple. Go to the grocery store, buy everything that you need for an entire week of eating, and then try that out. But I will say, secondly, eat when you're hungry. These first few days of starting something like this, it's gonna be tough. If anybody tells you differently, they're lying to you. When you're a sugar burner and you are transitioning to a fat burner, it's gonna be hard. Your body's gonna scream at you for a few days because it's mad. It's not getting what it's used to. You have to plan for that and not be like, oh, this doesn't work for me. You just have to understand that your body's adapting, and that takes a little bit of time. So those first few days might be a little difficult. Start noticing those changes. Start noticing how your body feels. Are you lighter? Are you more clear? Do you have more energy? Are you sleeping better? These are all cues short term that are going to tell you that you're doing the right thing for your body. You're not going to lose a crazy amount of weight the first week. That's not the point of this, right? The point is to switch over to a fat burner. If you're curious about how to make that switch, I did put a free guide together. It's nothing extreme. It's just a very simple step-by-step process to get you through those first 5 days. You can grab it in the link below. It just kind of makes this whole process easier, right? It takes all the guesswork out of what you actually have to do to make this happen. But that's pretty much it. Let your body settle and adapt, and then treat this as a reset, not a strict diet. For 7 days, I think anybody can commit to 7 days, right? If you do this for 7 days, you're gonna feel so much better. And then you can take those habits into a longer time frame, but allow that to just kind of settle in that first week and then go from there. And lastly, what I want to add to this is that diet alone did not get me to where I am today. The biggest difference for me was changing my mindset into why I wanted to do this. So I'm actually currently putting together a video that I'm going to be releasing soon that goes into a deep dive about the mindset that's needed to actually succeed with this. But in the meantime, you can check out my transformation story, and it'll give you a lot more detail of how all of this started, the struggles that I went through. And I think that will make a lot of this a little bit more clear for you. So check that out. And then the next video should be out soon. So I appreciate you joining me. Thanks for hanging out this long. Comment below if this resonated with you, and we'll see you in the next one.